Hello, hello there, lady. Oh, excuse me. Gentlemen only up in our abode here in our fantasy baseball league. Yours truly here, Thrill Will Alexander, with some Week 5 MLB fantasy baseball preview, matchup, reviews, ratings, whatever you want to call it. As we get started, I'm going to touch on last week a little bit, hit a few do's, hit a few don'ts, hit a few yeses, hit a few no's maybe, and then go into our predictions like normal. So let me get started with some things from last week. Predictions. I was 1-5. Well, barely. I wasn't even 1-5. 0-5-1, if you will. Thank you, Strokeswood and Code Nose, for tying that bitch up so I didn't possibly go 0-6. Also, just as Benson might say, these predictions are pretty much just my lips flapping right now. So let's see if we can do a little bit better this week, especially on my end. And we have one totally defeated team, one non-undefeated, but still, Jaycock doing his thing. So props to you, Jaycock, being 3-0-1, lone undefeated team in the league. Well, before we get into our predictions this week, after we're done with last week, it's neither here nor there. A lot of tight matchups, I will say. Very few blowouts. It wound up being pretty down to the wire in most of our games. This week, I figured I'd bring in our first special guest, courtesy of the National League All-Star team. Yours truly. Where's William at? Because we're talking about the Riz Dog, Anthony Rizzo, in the house. And with him, his partner in crime. Slide up on in here, my friend. Folks, this is one only B Grizzle, a.k.a. what's your fantasy name this year?
B Ryan Express.
B Ryan Express. If you might notice, B Ryan could possibly be an indication of his favorite player. Let's get this camera over a little bit, get B Green more in the shot for us. So B Ryan is going to be joining us as we talk about our predictions. And if you've not viewed our videos before, you know that he's big into studs and duds. I'm hoping he's going to bring us a few of those today. As we get started here, let's go ahead and hit our first matchup of the week. I'm looking at the Nasty Mullet versus Los Mexis. Los Mexis pulled out a dub last week. Nasty Mullet pulled out a dub last week. I couldn't believe it. I really thought after Thursday that Nasty Mullet was down for the count. But he pulled it out, Charlie's Angels. Thought you were going to be 4-0. You let me down really, truly. Los Mexis beat Anthony. Very happy about that. Everybody loves to see Anthony get beat, shut his mouth up. You got the Illuminati against Anthony, but he probably won't watch this video. He's got a million other things to be worrying about. Kids. Practice.
Not paying Ben on time.
Oh, not paying Bedell. That's always worrisome.
I just found out he's got a debt to Joe Dawkins that he hasn't paid also, Anthony.
Hashtag HawkDawk. But this week, I'm expecting Nasty Mullet to go to 3-2. Los Mexis to fall to 2-3. Big Green, you got anything for us on those matchups?
I think to bring back the studs and duds. Basically, just looking at stats from the last 2 weeks. For Chuck Nasty, his stud, obviously, going to be Mike Clevenger. Dud, Son the Gray, with the ERA of 9.
Oh, Son the Gray. Didn't have a lot of faith in him last year at Yankee Stadium. This year, he's really proven that point true.
Los Mexis. Stud, obviously Jake Arrieta, ERA and WHIP of .64.
He's been pretty stellar for the Phillies, that's for sure. Good offseason pickup, late
Dud,
season.
Billy Hamilton, OPS of .490. Come on, man.
Come on, man. I think it's time for William to go ahead and drop B-Ham. Nobody's going to pick him up off your hands. All he does is steal bases, but as many people have said, you can't steal first. That's going to do it for our first matchup. Our second matchup going to take place with yours truly here, Trader Will. Name change versus Free Bill. Trader Will versus Free Bill. Trader Will versus Free Bill. I'm thinking Trader Will's going to win. Got some improved offense. Pitching can't be any freaking worse than it's been, I don't think. I mean, when you're sporting an ERA of 5, that's looking dreadful. Season batting average, 222 for my squad. Worst in the league by 21 points at last check. But I still think that's good enough to beat Free Bill. I mean, that's all there is to it. So Free Bill Cosby's going down. Trader Will's going up. 3-2 for one, 1-4 for the other.
Free Bill, stud, obviously Max Scherzer. Dud, Brett Gardner. 6 total bases in the last 2 weeks. 6.
Bunts against the shift and at least get 1.
Trader Will. For the stud, I wanted to go with Gabby
Sanchez for putting it in you last night.
Had to go with Andujar. Just the stats don't lie. And Dud, Kingery. Even worse than Gardner. 5 total bases in the last 2 weeks.
Bunt against, stop striking out. 25 strikeouts and 82 at-bats for that cat. So he's hanging on by a thread for his multi-position eligibility. Next matchup here, We got a little, I want to say long ballers versus Chuck Angels.
I'm through standing in line, the clubs I'll never get in. It's like the bottom of the ninth, and I'm never gonna win this. Life hasn't turned out quite the way I want it to be. Tell me what you want.
Rymar, that's been your life. It has not been what you wanted it to be thus far in the fantasy season. You're 0-4, tight losses, big losses, pitching great, hitting shit, hitting great, pitching shit. I still think you're going 0-5. I know you're dedicated in the league, so that's a plus. You're going to keep doing some things, try to make some deals, try to just hope some consistency is found upon your team. But I don't think it's going to happen this week against Chuck's Angelos. He's looking for redemption. I don't think he's going to 3-2. His team's been too good up until this point. He's still got a great offense, racking up, I believe, 127 total bases last week, 124, right around there. I haven't sniffed anything close to that since week 1 and when it was 1.5 weeks. So Chuck's Angels, I think you're going to pull out a dub here over long ballers. Go to 4-1. Long ballers looking at 0-5.
All right, for the studs and duds, long ballers. Stud, I'm looking at Chad Bettis.
Ooh.
For his dud, this hurts me to do this, but it's Chris Bryant.
Oh, Chris
With a
Bryant.
batting average of
Rizzo
136.
Bryant.
136 over the last 2 weeks.
That's a Chris Bryant to my Anthony Rizzo.
Charlie's Angels. For your stud, making the list as the only relief pitcher,
You're welcome. I talked him into it.
Josh Hader.
Don't be a hater for Josh Hader.
18 Ks per 9 on the season. And for his dud, Matt the Carpenter.
Carp. Oh, his
147 batting average. Just ain't going to cut it.
not gonna cut it, man. But he does have multi-position eligibility. Gotta say. Next up, Week 4 preview for the B. Ryan Express versus Alavila. B. Ryan coming off a tough loss last night in just heartbreaking fashion. Those Sunday night games when you're just laying in bed at 11 o'clock like, damn, I can't turn it off. I got to make sure something crazy doesn't happen. And I was doing that up until the 9th inning with Didi Gregorius and Aaron Judge possibly coming up. They didn't do anything to help him out. Alavila's won 2 straight, though, against myself and Dr. Kananga. Did not expect that. Alavila had been a punching bag for a long time. He's looking to go to over 500 for the first time since anybody considered 0-500 over 500. B. Ryan's going to shut it down, though. B. Ryan Express, I think my man right here is going to pull out a victory, go to 3-2. Alavila going to fall back to 2-3 and keep our trend going of people just kind of filling the middle ground while a couple teams start to ascend.
Studs and duds. My stud, obviously, for the whole year, Verlander. Dud, Garrett Richards, ERA greater than 8. Alavila. Stud, somebody I was keen on last year and always true, dear to my heart, Altuve.
Jose Altuve.
Dud, Justin Upton. Got 18 strikeouts and only 7 total bases.
I got to think, if you can multiply your total bases by 2 and not even get to your strikeouts, that is looking weak. Him and Yenis Cespedes, they're definitely running the same game plan right now. I'm surprised you didn't go with Joey Votto there. Did you have any thoughts of that? I know he had been on a pretty recent tear.
No.
Point blank no from B Green. All right, well, that takes care of our 4th matchup of the week with the B Ryan Express picking up the dub. Moving next, we're going to a matchup of companions that know each other pretty well. I believe we're looking at Austin and Cody. And when I think of them, I just think of how they reminded me of each other so well. We had a rookie GM pass the hashtag rookie GM to his friend. We have a old school rookie GM making trades all the time. New school GM making crazy trades. Rookie GM making trades all the time. Both dedicated Braves fans. I mean, the similarities are endless, and they truly remind me of one another.
You got going on.
Well, you know,
really like that.
That was Austin. You know, he's Canadian. He's up there in
Who is
Canada.
that band?
Dime Piece, Quarter Sack.
We'll look it up
We'll
later.
figure it out later. But T-Ball picked up a dub last week. Got off the schneid. Shut some people up for the time being. I don't think I picked against him because, you know, I was only 0-1 and 0-5-1 last week. So T-Ball, I thought you were going to lose. You shut me up. I think you're going to win this week. I think Cody, maybe it's like big brother, little brother syndrome. Maybe he might take it easy on you and not start a couple guys. Maybe, I forgot to look at my lineup. Or is he the big brother that's just I'm going to crush and kill, and then he hurts you and you tell mom and he gets in trouble, which is like a late weekend loss. Either which way, I still think you're going to win. So T-Ball, this one's for you, bud. You're going to 2-3. You're getting close to 500. Cody, you're falling down, my friend. So T-Ball, what do you got for us, B Green?
T-ball, stud, obviously, Acuna.
Ronald Acuna, the savior of the Braves.
Dud, Dexter Fowler, 118 batting average. Just not going to get it
Well,
done.
when you have Ronald Acuna, that just compensates.
Cody.
What about for Cody?
Cody, stud, Lance,
The pants.
colors with
Oh.
3 wins in 2 weeks. And his dud, Stroman.
Stro Daddy. No one likes to see Stro Daddy getting on the dud list. That's a sad sight. Everybody liked him pitching for America in the WBC. Hyped. Next up on the list, we have got the matchup of the week. We have the 1 and 2 squads going against one another. Kananga, I thought you were going to be undefeated going into this matchup. Strokeswood, you are undefeated going into this matchup. I think that Kananga had a better squad for a while. I don't know what happened last week. Kind of fell off against Savdog. Maybe all his smack talk ran out. Maybe they had something going on at work. It's a little side bet. Strokeswood, I mean, when I think about his team, I just ponder, how long can this continue? How long can Jeremy Cockpiece continue to dominate this league in such a fashion? He's not just beating the scrubs. He's beating the good teams. He's beating the teams that are on his schedule. And what else can you do but beat those teams? So, Jaycock, you're going to continue to beat the teams on your schedule in my eyes this week. I think you're picking up the dub. Kananga, you're going to fall back to 3 and 2. That early season mirage, maybe, I don't know. But regardless, I think that unfortunately you're going to be falling back to earth and getting closer to 500 as well. So Strokeswood maintains his status as the lone undefeated team this week. Long Ballers maintains his status as the lone defeated team this week. B Green, what you got for us when it comes to Kananga and Strokes, though?
Kananga, stud, my favorite player over the past 10 years. Klubot.
Klubot.
Dud, Gregory Polanco. Again, 12 strikeouts and 12 total bases.
Oh, that's a 1-to-1 ratio just enough to be salivating at that.
Strokeswood, stud, we're looking at Patrick Corbin. Over the last 2 weeks, 3 quality starts, 1 complete game shutout. I don't know how you feel about
Corbin,
complete game shutouts.
When you get that SHO by your name, you just know, week's done.
Dud, Edwin Encarnacion, 188 batting average.
I always liked Edwin. The Edwin, hitting the home run, just running around like that. Always appreciative of that. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week's predictions. To recap, we've got Trader Will winning. We've got Strokeswood winning. We got B. Ryan winning. T-Ball winning. Chuck's Angels winning. And the Chuck Nasty Mullet winning. Bigger, any last comments or anything before I hit the top 5?
I think we pretty much summed it all up.
Summed it all up in a nice, neat little package, if you will. This week, we got some big things going on around the sports world, but none bigger than the NBA playoffs. So this week I thought I'd talk about the top 5 things that I think are going to affect the NBA playoffs and going forward. Number 5, the draft and free agency. Oklahoma City's already eliminated. What's going to happen with Paul George? What's going to happen with Melo to a lesser degree nowadays? NBA draft's coming up. Do you think the Atlanta Hawks are going to do anything? Looking at the 3rd through 5th pick, I'm hoping they get somebody that can actually contribute right away. Please don't re-pick Sheldon Williams or AC Law or Marvin Williams. Keep Billy King as far away from the draft room as possible. Next up, is D'Antonio ever going to be able to beat the Warriors? He's proven himself to be able to get right up there to the cusp without taking his team over the edge. This is the year I think that the Rockets can ascend. I think D'Antonio is going to be able to do it with James Harden, Chris Paul, and Clint Capella. Big Green, you been following any NBA playoffs or anything? No.
Nope. I hate basketball.
Oh, all right then. Next up, Brad the Wizard Stevens. Brad the President Stevens, as Bill Simmons might say. He has been majestic this year. He's winning games with players that nobody's ever heard of. Well, I'm not entirely. We know Jason Tatum. We know Jaylen Brown. He's got Marcus Smart. But no star. I mean, when Al Horford's your best player, we in Atlanta were happy to watch him go a few years ago. So, good job there. Next up, is LeBron going to get any help? Can somebody score 15 points a game? For the love of God, please help the man out. Kevin Love, do something. J.R. Smith, Ty Lue, do something. Get coach better. He can't do it all himself. It's about to be a one-way ticket out of the land. And next up, Steph Curry's health. Is he going to be healthy enough? Without him being full strength, we all know that the Warriors are just not a good quality team. But, I mean, that's obvious when you take any top player away. But even they, take a slip down with this star-studded pack they have. I think the Rockets, as I stated earlier, D'Antonio is going to get over the top. This is going to help him get over the top. And for now, that's a big question mark, though. Can he come back to full strength and at least not have the Warriors be like, whoa, Steph Curry was hurt, we would have won? I want to hear that shit, okay? They tried to do it to the land back in the day when LeBron beat them, came back from 3-1. I don't want to hear it this year. That's it for now. We will talk to you boys later. You have a pleasant evening and a happy tomorrow.
If we fuck it up, we can go.
All right, boys. We got a new segment here I'm going to add on this week. Better get to know a league mate. We're going to get some insight into some new league mate for those of you that are new to the league. This is really going to help you better understand who we are and what we stand for. So here we go. We got B Green as our interviewer today. He's going to be interviewing the one and only Thrills here. So I'm going to give you some more insight about myself.
What's your favorite childhood memory about baseball?
Oh, man, that's a pretty easy question right there. Growing up in Indianapolis, we didn't have a pro team, but we would drive over to Cincinnati and Riverfront. That's where I got to see Barry Larkin and the crew play, and it was a really awesome time as a kid.
What's your most memorable fantasy baseball moment?
I got to say that was 4 years back when Alex Harbor defeated me in the title game. It was 9-9 going into Sunday. Matt Whistler and Nick Tropiano, of all people. Matt Whistler with the CGSHO versus the Cardinals. Tropiano wound up pitching and getting a game start, and that really screwed me over. And it's lived with me ever since.
Who's your favorite baseball player of all time and why?
Oh, that's easy. Ken Griffey Jr. Watching him, that's what I wanted to symbolize when I was swinging. I idolized him. No, not idolized, but he was the greatest. And when he came to Cincinnati, that just cemented his legacy as my favorite player of all time, B Green. So that's who I dug.
That's your 90 feet with Thrills.
We'll see you next time.